Hi garden friends, Debbie here. Happy Earth Day. I know it was Monday, April 22nd, but I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Earth Day. In today's video, I am going to be talking about preparing your garden for pollinators and what plants and host plants you want to grow to bring those butterflies and pollinators into your garden. My goal with this channel is to inspire people to grow a more productive and beautiful garden. Now, I'm no expert. I am a master gardener and I learned quite a bit from taking that course, but again, I'm no expert and I learn every single year. Every single year there's something new to learn, which is why I think I like gardening so much, is no year is the same. I really strive to make my garden a refuge for all living things, whether it be a bird, mammals, or insects. As far as butterflies, I was at the beginning bringing in every egg that I would see, and I would raise those indoors. And I had really good success the first few years. And in fact, I tagged one monarch my very first year, and it did make it to Mexico. Since then, I have not seen any of mine that I tagged make it to Mexico, but that doesn't mean that it didn't make it, because the one that they found could have died in the Mexican forest or the tag fell off, but it did make it to Mexico. So I'm hopeful that more of my butterflies have made that journey of over 2,000 miles. The last 2 years have been horrible raising monarchs though. I have milkweed throughout my garden and on one side of my house and in the back. I have neighbors that unfortunately spray for mosquitoes, insecticides, and they spray their grass for fungicides. And what was happening is I was bringing them in as eggs. They would hatch, and then as they ate the leaf, they would die after the first stage. So that just tells me that they ingested some kind of poison and they perished. Last year though, however, I did find a caterpillar that was good size on one of my milkweed that I have right here, right out the front door. And I knew it was going to be going into a chrysalis pretty soon. So the next couple of days I watched it. It was really hard to find the caterpillar because they do disguise themselves. But I did find it and it was in its J. So I knew it was going to go in its chrysalis. And I put the bag over it, and I'll link that short of me doing that if you want to check that out. But that was successful. The butterfly emerged 2 weeks later. It was a huge female. So that just told me that I need to probably reevaluate me bringing in the monarchs inside. But I still want to protect them, not only from predators, but from my neighbors that like well manicured lawns and spray, unfortunately. If I could, I would move tomorrow and move to a more open space and not worry about the insects being sprayed. But unfortunately, that's not an option for me right now, but maybe someday. So back to the video of preparing your garden for pollinators. I'll talk about first the butterflies that I raise and how I attract them. The first one is the Black Swallowtail, and I have developed a pretty good system for the Black Swallowtails. I have a Vegepod, which right now I have it in my living room, and I will be bringing it outside in the next week or so. But I plant the host plants in the Vegepod, and I'll link that too in the description box below. But I put the host plants in there, and then beginning of May, I bring out the Vegepod. I open up the top, then I bring my overwintering Black Swallowtails in. I spritz them every day to kind of wake them up and put them in a nice sunny window. And usually within a week or two, they do emerge. And that's when, again, I have my top open for any females wandering around that want to lay eggs. It usually happens pretty quick. So as soon as I let my butterflies, once they emerge, it's usually a couple days and I start seeing eggs on there. So then what I do is I leave, again, every day I leave the top off for a female to lay more eggs. Once they start emerging, I do cover it on occasion, sometimes maybe for part of the day because I want more black swallowtails to lay more eggs, but I do want to protect them too from predators. So I cover it again as they grow, and I just found this method to work really great because I don't have to clean up after them, their frass, which is their poop, and I found that they are protected from the predators, but they still are outside in a natural environment. So this has worked out really well for me. I'm trying to think of another way of doing the monarchs, but it's hard because the milkweed plants are so tall. So I thought of another way of doing it, and I'm going to have pots. And then what I'm going to do is leave the pots on my deck, and then hopefully a monarch butterfly will lay eggs on those, and I'll do the same thing. I will cover those eggs and protect them, but they'll still be outside, and I will probably put them in a covered, protected area so they don't get the spray that might float over to my yard. So we'll see how that works out, but I'm going to try a different method. Now I'm going to probably bring in only a couple so I can demonstrate and show you guys in future videos what they look like as an egg, caterpillar, chrysalis, and then a butterfly. But I'm not going to be bringing in 25 to 50 butterflies the first year. I think I brought in maybe 100 black swallowtails and 50 monarchs. That was crazy. But again, I had my first one did make it to Mexico that year when I did have all those butterflies. It was just really hard to keep up with having enough food for the caterpillars, and also cleanup was, morning and at night. So I'm going to try to keep them in their natural environment, but I'll still be able to protect them. The black swallowtails now that are in my garage are in their what's called diapause, and that is it's suspended development. So what happens is it's not like they go to sleep and then wake up. It is their development is suspended until they wake up in the spring, and that's usually, like I said, warmer temperatures. You spritz them, that wakes them up, and the development starts up again, and then they emerge. I also, after I bring my Vegepod outside, I will start 2 more pots of dill or fennel, because those are the ones that I bring inside for the ones that I'm raising, the few that I raise inside. They are voracious eaters, so you want to make sure you have enough supply for those caterpillars. By the end of the season, it's pretty close to being all done and spent, and I will be planting some pots every month until about August. So what type of host plants do you plant the black swallowtail? For the black swallowtail, their host plants are dill, fennel, parsley, and Queen Anne's lace. And then for their nectar plant, I will put up a slide of the annuals that will attract them. Now these are just a few. Of course there are many more, but these are just a few to name. So the annuals that I have are the Mexican sunflower, which, by the way, every pollinator likes a Mexican sunflower. If you could grow one plant, find the Mexican tithonia or the Mexican sunflower. You won't be sorry. The plants for the black swallowtail annuals are the Mexican sunflower, zinnias, lantana, and verbena. And then you have your perennials: Joe pieweed, butterfly bush, blazing star, and coneflower. So again, I told you what I'm going to be doing with the monarchs this year. I'm going to try a different method, bring in a couple to demonstrate and show you, but the majority are going to stay outside either in a plant, or I'm going to leave them on the milkweed plants and let nature take its course. That way they're still outside, protected from predators, but still in their natural environment. Here is the host plants for the monarchs. And I want to preface this by saying to make sure you check out, I will link the website below, native milkweed. You don't want to really grow anything that's not native to your area. So you want to check out that site for your native milkweeds. For my zone 5B/6A, I have Asclepias incarnata, which is your swamp milkweed, Asclepias tuberosa, which is your butterfly weed, the orange looking flower. The next one is Asclepias siraca, which are your bigger milkweed and grow in the fields, and that's your common. And the last one native to my zone is Asclepias verticulata, which is your world milkweed. Now here are some of the annuals to provide nectar for the monarch butterflies. Gaillardia, or called blanket flower, Mexican sunflower again, cosmos, and zinnias. The perennials are bee balm, asters, that is a great fall pollinator friendly plant. Also the goldenrod is also a great one in the fall for the monarchs, and agastache. Okay, now I want to talk about hummingbirds. And first I want to talk about the red dye. I highly suggest that you do not purchase. I know that they have them in stores and everybody thinks that hummingbirds are attracted to red, which they are, but if you have a red feeder, they're also attracted to purple. So it really is unnecessary and may be harmful for the hummers to drink that red dye. It contains red dye number 5, and I feel if it's not safe for humans to ingest this red dye, then it can't be good for little hummers to ingest it as well. And honestly, it's cheaper to make your own. It's just regular pure cane sugar and water. Now, as far as boiling, I do boil, but you don't have to. You just have to make sure the sugar is dissolved. That's why I do boil it. Here's a great slide from Hummingbird Whisperer, and you want to take a screenshot of this and share it with your friends, anybody that likes to attract hummingbirds, to put the word out to not use the red dyed product. Maybe eventually someday that will be taken off the shelves and we don't have to worry about that anymore. All you really need are red feeders and red, purple, any kind of tubular flowers. They will come. They do come back every year as well. So I've heard of some people say that they don't have their feeders up and you could see the hummers just floating in the area where they were the previous year. Not sure how their little brain knows, but it does. And I have mine out. I usually put mine out April 15th. That's always the day that I put out my hummingbird feeders and my oriole feeders. I haven't seen either one yet, but I have my cameras out and I'm on the lookout for them. It should be probably, I would think, in the next week to 10 days that I should see them. Weather's a little bit chilly today, but I see that next week's going to be back into the 70s. So I suspect that they'll be floating through next week. So here are some annuals that you can put in your garden to attract hummingbirds. Salvia familiar. This is a must-have, the familiar. Actually, all of these plants are great to attract hummingbirds. They like all of these. The salvia, the familiar, Mexican sunflower, and fuchsia. The perennials for hummingbirds are the cardinal flower, penstemon, honeysuckle vine, and foxgloves. I did want to say too that I have quite a few different videos on bringing in pollinators, so make sure you check out my playlist of all those videos in the past couple years that I've done. I also have a couple of great resource books. There's a ton, but these are a few great ones. This one is 100 Plants to Feed the Monarch. This one, as you can see, I have little tabs in there, attracting butterflies and hummingbirds to your backyard. And this one is Butterfly Gardening, and this one has information about each region. So, you know, whether it be Northwest, Southwest, Midwest. So this is a great resource as well. So I hope this video was helpful in preparing your garden for pollinators. So give it a like and comment below your favorite pollinator. Next week, I hope to get out to my raised bed gardens. I have 2 raised beds in a community garden. I want to start my peas and my lettuces. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell for that next video. I hope everyone has a great week, and thanks for watching. Happy gardening. Bye-bye.